Anetons, connecting professionals.
Hi Vimla, thanks for joining. So just to expedite, tomorrow I'm gonna bring another candidate. He's from our other batch from SCCM and Intune, and he has successfully appeared for two like companies interview round, and he has successfully cracked it, and he got the offer. So I want him to come to us, in the call and share his thought, his experience, and share the questions that he prepared for, and he was asked in the interview call. So I want you guys to be available tomorrow. I'll ensure that I share the timing, so when he's available, accordingly, we will set up a call. Maybe I'll see if I can bring him in the same time, maybe just for half an hour, maybe, and he can share his thoughts and share the interview questions, which he was questioned by the interviewer. So, and he will delegate his other questionnaires which he has prepared for, and he's from the former batch of SCCM Intune. So he's none of, but he's from among of all. So he's again a student of Electrons Academy. So also I'll have a one candid discussion with him one to one, which I'll upload on the YouTube channel itself. So do available, make sure that tomorrow you're not skipping the class. At least be available, so you will have a better opportunity to understand how the interviews are going on, what sort of trends, what sort of questions that they're asking, and troubleshooting scenarios and all sort of things. So we will cover all. So make a most out of it. If any questions, any doubt, please feel free to ask to him, and make it more fruitful. So that's it for today, and let me quickly share my screen and let's start. Okay, so do confirm if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, Vaibhav. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Fine. So today we are going to complete a session mostly on OMA-URI. Okay, URI or URI or OMA, whatever you say. Okay, so what are these and why these are there and why we are learning it out, and what is the benefit out of it. So everything we will cover in this session. All right. So this is just I have prepared. So those who have not scanned and who have not subscribed the channel, please go, feel free to do so, because lots of interview preparation things which coming offline, which I'm covering, which I'll be recording myself and I'm uploading it over there. So just take a full benefit out of it. So do subscribe to get the notification, and whenever new video is opening up or we are dialing in, you can get it. All right, so let's jump in. So agenda for today, we are going to talk about here configuration service provider, which is called CSPs. Okay, what are these CSPs, why these CSPs are crucial. Okay, we will go deep dive about the architecture about the CSPs. Okay, how can we set up and getting started with OMA-URI, okay, or OMA-URI. Okay, then we'll talk about what is the difference between portal versus portal. I'm talking about the Intune portal versus OMA-URI. Okay, then we'll understand about the sync ML. What is this and what does it do, especially. Then we'll talk about the policy delivery mechanism. How does the workflow work? Then we'll understand about the MDM versus group policies. Okay, what sort of difference and how we can leverage it. Then how the OMA-URI policies behave. Okay, and where to find the logs about it. Then we'll understand about the real world use cases. Then we'll do some hands-on examples, and then we'll do a live demonstration, okay, in this series. So let's begin. First of all, let's understand what is the CSPs. So this is very crucial, and in interviews, it is quite engaging questions they ask. in normal, this is not, you will get it in basic and advanced interviews like L1 and L2, but mostly when you're going for L3 or L4 on architect level, these are the common practice, like configuration service provider. What is the, especially it is in short term, they talk it like CSPs. Okay, so what is CSP? So CSP is nothing but it's just a configuration service provider. It's like a translator which translate between Windows devices and Intune devices so that they can communicate each of them with effectively. Okay, so let's understand CSPs. We will have a next slide where I have complete image of it and we'll talk about it, what it is. Let's understand the basic first. So configuration service provider, it is like a simple service provider which knows the language of Windows. Okay, a machine language, he knows it, and whatever Intune is telling, the same is being translated by configuration setting provider, okay, to your Windows devices, and that is how it set the communication, okay, effectively. How does it work? So it is as good as you talk about the APIs. Okay, so like if you are doing a development, so how, like in railway websites, okay, how do you interact with the railway system? Okay, there is a API, there is a application interface, okay, through which you connect with your confirm ticket, maybe application or any other application if you're using like make my trip or booking.com, whatever, or Amazon pay later or pay services. So they have a dedicated APIs. Okay, that API opens a gateway through which you can connect to the backend services. So I cannot directly route or connect to the Indian Railways. I need to have a API set up through which I can connect to, and that API is provided by whom? That API is provided by the Indian Railways itself. Okay, the same way, if I need to connect to any particular setting, okay, and that I want to operate, so that Windows or that device should open a API, okay, through which we can connect and leverage. And that API is like, if I say, so this is API is like a wall in between. Okay, that is what that is called API. Okay, so this is API. And for example, if I say I have Indian Railway, so Indian Rail, okay, and this is where our uh, application is like confirm kit, or maybe I have Amazon. Okay, so all these, how do they connect? They get the information through this wall. Okay, and this wall translate the data to Indian Railway, and then this pass it to here, and this API again translate here, and then we get to see like what is the ticket, which train is available, which date is the ticket available, what sort of category of the sitting, like is it third AC or second AC or first AC, whatever. So through API, this, gets, we get this leveraged. Second thing is, where is it found? So CSPs are actually, these are already built in Windows 10 operating system, Windows 10 and Windows 11. So this has started from a version of 1607. So from 1607 means July 2016, the version which was launched by Microsoft, Windows or 10 operating system, that has already built in CSPs. Okay, so these CSPs are already being exposed, or this operating system has already exposed these CSPs outside to the world. Okay, and whosoever is, trying to connect with this, they should have a proper MDM solution through which we can connect and make it use of it, right? Why is it important? So CSPs, what it does, we get the most out of the operating system. Okay, for example, I want to customize something, I want to customize or control some device behavior. How would I do that? I can only leverage it through the CSPs. So if you are like, CSPs is what, it's like a configuration manager, or you would say configuration settings or configuration policies which are there in MDM. What it does, it allows you, like there are templates, there are multiple settings which are already there. For example, I want to disable the camera, I want to disable antivirus, I want to disable something it. Okay, all sort of settings are pre-made available on the MDM solution itself. We can simply call that, and we can leverage that settings, and we can make the device compliant as per the settings we defined. Okay, the same way CSPs are the custom made, configuration settings or configuration policies. That is like the settings which are not already available with your modern device management solutions. Okay, but that behavior is already there with your device. Okay, what do they do? So they expose various configuration settings that can be managed through tools like Intune. So for example, let's understand in next slide. So for example, I just want to give a different uh, scenario altogether. For example, this is like a house. Okay, and please bear with me. I'm not good here because my mouse is not good. So this is for example my house. Okay, and I have some sort of switches. Okay, and I have all these switches which are available, right? And I have already what I say, I have exposed these. Okay, exposed these switches. Okay, so why I have exposed these switches? So that you can use it, right? Or you can leverage it so you can use it. And what these switches are doing exactly, so these switches, when I, for example, when I switch on one, whatever, sorry. So let me start again. So this is the house. Okay, and this is just house, and uh, okay, and now I have exposed some switches here. Okay, if you can, and these are the exposed switches. Okay, these switches are exposed so that user can use it, right? And if I say I'm switching one here, so it is just eliminating this bulb, for example, and another switch I am switching it on, so it's just eliminating this light, and then another switch is doing some sort of fan work. Okay, so all these switches are exposed outside of the world, through which we are accessing these different uh, appliances which are there in our home. Now let's understand here. uh, so uh, so this is the switch. Okay, and these switches are connected to the appliances. For example, this is the fan. Okay, and this in the middle. Okay, this is in the middle. This is what is called wire, right? So this is wire, these are connected. Now the same way, what is happening here, this operating system, if you can see my mouse. Okay, so this operating system, this has already exposed its, this has already exposed its CSPs. Okay, these CSPs are for the various different reasons. Okay, for example, some of them, they are there. Uh, okay, some of them, these are there for the BitLocker. Okay, some of there for the Bluetooth, some of there for the wallpaper, some of there for the power options. Okay, so each CSPs are exposed by your operating system so that end user or the admin can leverage that, so they can make the changes in the registry location, and they can utilize the best out of best services or configuration settings on the device itself. All right, so what happens here, you as an Intune here, you are setting a policy. Okay, how, so these policies which are not available here in your Intune, so how do you connect with, how do you leverage that? Okay, In that case, we are going to use the OMA-URI. So OMA-URI, its a simple form is it's Open Mobile Alliance. Okay, and this is my bad. This is Uniform Resource Identity Identifier. So pay attention here, guys, because we have a quiz at the end of the session. Okay. So Open Mobile Alliance is what? It's called Uniform Resource Identifier. So what is does exactly? So these settings are used to configure and manage the devices by setting the specific policies or commands. Okay, because these policies are not available in Intune. So how do we configure these settings? For that, we need to use Intune UI, and through which we can configure this CSPs, configuration service providers. All right. So in this case, what things we can do? I'll just erase everything. What things we can do? We can configure default like policies, like for Windows, iOS, Android, any devices. If you want, you can do it. For example, I want to manage some advanced features of BitLocker. I want to do advanced features for Windows update settings or custom CSPs, all sort of things. We can do it from here. Okay. So any confusion with this? So far, are we good?
Yes, Vaibhav.
Okay. So BitLocker, and so okay, let you make you understand like this. If you are connecting to what I say, in a virtual environment, okay, everyone is aware of what is it, that's a good name. It's not coming. There is a ICA protocol which we use for the virtualization. Okay, for Citrix, I'm talking about the Citrix. So for Citrix, if we need to go to virtual desktop and connect, we require to have a ICA protocol. Okay, that ICA to be installed, that ICA invokes and that leverages you to connect to that virtual environment. The same way, if we want to use some BitLocker CSPs, if you want to use some additional settings, okay, which is not there in Intune, but that settings is already there. For example, Bluetooth, for example, BitLocker on my device is not enabled. That does not mean that BitLocker is not there. BitLocker is always there. Okay, but we did not invoke it. We did not use it. So how to use it? We need to invoke that BitLocker. Okay, settings. We need to accept that the settings already there, but we are not knowing how to enable it. So if we can enable that BitLocker, so we will better do the disk encryption from that, and we can utilize that operating system behavior or operating system settings which is already there inbuilt. So for these translation, okay, so if I say Intune is sending some policy, okay, how that is being translated? So that is being translated through this XML file, which is as a protocol which is being used called OMA-DM. Okay, that is where the Open Mobile Alliance, okay, this is what the device management, the DM stand for the device management, through which this protocol is being called, and the policy is configured using this OMA-URI, okay, which is nothing but Open Mobile Alliance Uniform Resource Identifier. So through which this sends the Intune sends the communication, okay. uh, OMA DM protocol is being used, and the message is in the form of OMA URI. Okay, then it is going to here to your operating system, to your laptop, and these CSPs are already exposed. Okay, it is like a switches. So as soon these are invoked, you press that switch, and then it gives you that behavior. So fan starts working. Your Yeah, Vimla, go on.
Yeah, so
Go on,
Vaibhav,
ask your
you
question.
just small doubt here. So CSPs
Hmm.
are only for the OS default applications, or for any other sub application also CSPs are there?
So CSPs, especially like whatever the operating system having a feature, whatever operating system carries that feature, those settings you can customize through these CSPs.
Okay, so for any other applications also, like any other software and application also.
It is bound only for the operating system level configurations.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. Thank you.
So if you just to ask you answer the question, so this is not like just for BitLocker we are talking about, or Windows and all. We can do other things as well. Okay, for example, you want to create some advanced configuration which is not available for Intune UI, you can make use of it. And in enterprise scenarios also, if you are using Windows Autopilot, co-management and other stuff, you can also use these custom settings. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
So mainly the CSPs are being used for managing OS features, BitLocker, Windows Defender, Windows updates, firewall rules, and all sort of things. But if you want, there is third-party integration also that we can use, and that way we can allow our Intune to get connected with the third-party apps, which can give the more exposed services that they can help you to manage. Okay, enterprise scenarios, what I know, that Windows Autopilot, co-management, cloud PCs and all sort of things, we can use it. Okay.
yeah. Thank
So
you.
it is as good as a development if you're using any API, okay, which is provided by your operating system, that will allow your MDM solution like Intune to configure, monitor and manage devices remotely. That is the only clear and plain explanation of it. Okay, so let's talk about more CSPs. So Windows configuration service providers, CSPs, what it does, it serves as an interface, okay, for the mobile device management solutions. So this is the interface, okay, which is there, and this is where your Intune is leveraging this interface, and the same is being translated to your laptop. Okay, and that is how it understands what you're talking about. So this helps you to enable and access, configure, update and remove the device settings. Okay, these settings can be corresponded to specific registry entries. So all these settings which we are creating through Intune as a custom policies, those will create a registry entry and that will sit in your operating system, and that way we can achieve these customizations, right? So sometimes, so for example, okay, so okay, so sometimes we say that all the device settings, okay, or CSPs we're talking about, these are not available directly via Intune, okay, Microsoft Intune. So if settings is not there, then there is two ways of doing it. Okay, either you can wait for Microsoft to add it, okay, or you can do it by your own by creating a custom OMA-URI. Okay, so this will help you to manually set up the configurations using the Intune custom policies features, and this is what I have captured as a real world example. So for example, let's say that you want to block USB access. Let me zoom in. Okay, so for example, let's say you just want to block USB access on a company laptop, okay, but Intune does not show that option. So what you will do, either you should wait for Intune to enable that settings in from the backend, or there is a new updates is coming and that we will achieve it. Else what we can do, we can create a custom OMA URI that can apply that settings to yourself. So in that case, we don't need to wait for Intune to expose that settings, and then we can start leveraging that, right? So that is the one thing. Now let's understand the deep dive into the CSP's architecture. So in this, the architecture stands, there are policy scope. Okay, so there are two rules, two ways or two levels where the rules applies. Okay, one rule that is on the device level, okay, and the second one is the user level. So this rule, the device level rule, this affects the whole device no matter who is using it. Okay, if I'm admin, if I'm using that device, still the scope is predefined, and the whole device will be affected by this device level. Okay. Second thing is the user level. So this rule affects one specific user. So if I am logging to any particular machine or device, and if that CSP is, imposed over that user level, and if I'm part of that user group, I will definitely experience that settings changed. Okay, sometimes it happens whenever you're logging to certain machines, you see admin console is a different feature says, but as a user, if you start using it, you will not see much uh, features available. Okay, why? Because of the restrictions somehow. So this is how the restrictions are imposed on the device level and user device level, two levels where the settings are being applied. Now let's talk about the real world example. So if a company sets a device level policy to block USB port, so no one can use that USB on that device. Okay, straightforward. If the device level policy is there and we'll block that USB port, no one will able to use that USB port. But if we are imposing user level policies, so what it will do, for example, I want to impose a block for social media platforms, okay, so that users cannot use the social media platform. So in that case, user won't be able to access those websites, even someone else is logs in that as well. So for that reason, there are certain criteria or certain level where we are supposed to create the policies and impose it. For example, a device is being shared by everyone, okay, within the organization, and you feel that it will like expose with malicious things, and people will start using their own personal USB or thumb drive. So better not to enable that. Let's block that. So in that case, you can impose the first policy level, which is device level, and you can stop or block the USB ports. At the same time, if you feel there is a user who's like using the uh, social media platforms, he's not working at all, or maybe he's using a corporate laptop and you're not supposed to access uh, Facebook or Instagram and all sort of thing, Pinterest and all sort of thing. So you can definitely leverage that. You can disable that. Okay, so you can block that. So this is the CSP architecture. So let's understand the registry scope. So registry scope, how does it define? So if you need to configure policy, okay, so you need to go to dot then slash user vendor msft policy config area name and policy name. Okay, that is where you will get the configuration things. And at the same thing, when you're going to get results, so from user standpoint I'm talking about, okay, from user, if I need to configure some policies, I need to follow this path along. Okay, and if I need to get any policy details, if I need to see what is there on the policy, so I need to go to this result. Okay, so understand here, this is where the difference is. When you're doing a configuration, we are going in config, and if you're doing a result, if you're just pulling up the registry settings just to see what has changed or what configuration settings have been applied, so you can go to the result one. Okay, so there are two registries, looks same, but just a small changes here. So here we are going to result, and here we are going to config, right? So this is for user. The same way it goes for the device settings as well. So if you are looking for configuration policies, so you are going to come to the config, sub branch, and then go to area name and policy name. At the same time, when you are going for result, so you need to come to the policy slash result and area name and this. So whenever we are running some sort of changes, what if I just want to see what is the configuration scope that has been defined from the backend? So from device scope, we can go to result to get the details, and from user we can also get the result, and but the path is not similar, so path gets changed. So this starts here, it starts with device, and here here it starts with user. Okay, let me change the color. So this is here it starts with user. So just make a note of it. Registry things, they are, it's quite similar, it's quite easy, that device scope starts with device, user scope starts with user, and whenever you are pulling the data, you are actually taking the result, and whenever you are configuring the data, you are putting it in config. Okay, so that was the registry, and this is how the registry scope is defined. So if I'm coming from 1607, and the old model, I'm talking about 2020-21, we used to have such bifurcation about the settings. This is how we need to see how the settings are going to be applied. So first is going to dot vendor slash msft, like it's Microsoft. Then we'll go to policies. Under the policy, if I need to configure, I'll go to configure, then I'll choose the area name and I'll choose the policy name. Okay, at the same time, now things have been changed. I'll just refer the Microsoft documentation here, and I'll show you in the next slide uh, how they have defined in today's era, and how you need to read it out, and how you need to identify or ascertain which setting should I perform and which setting will change what. Okay, so this is the link, and let me see if I can. I don't think this is working here. uh, okay, so this is the policy CSPs. Okay, so if you go here, policy scope, so this is what they are talking about. If you can see. Okay, so this is what they're talking about. When you go to user, from user, vendor, msft and policies, and configure. So if you're going to configure, and this is where you're going for the result. And the same thing they are talking about when you go to device scope. This is where you need to go for the policy, for the device policy scope if you are defining, and for configuration you need to go to config, and for resulting you need to go to result. All right, and so this is the breakdown, what they are talking about, the way I have showed earlier. So it is like the first vendor, msft and policies, then they are going to config, then area name and policies, to config and configuration, all sort of things is defined here. Okay, and one good thing is it gives you the format also, like this particular setting is available to which platform. Okay, for example, if I am going for device configuration, okay, and if I want to make some changes, for example, I just want take at the look at the left hand side. Okay, so under this, if I go and I look for the policy, okay, so this policy is talking about like what sort of policies we can create. Okay, and this policy is available for Windows Pro, Enterprise, Education, and IoT enterprise, and all this, and applicable operating systems are available here. So these are the operating system where we can add the policy configuration settings. Okay, so this is, we need to ascertain that where this available for this particular operating system version or not, and if that is not available, so sometimes you see, let me do like this. Okay, let me go to let me make it, and let's go for the BitLocker. Okay, for example, let me go to the BitLocker. Okay, so this is the BitLocker CSPs. Okay, and in this BitLocker CSPs, so lots of things have been invoked or exposed by the operating system. So we can allow standard user encryption. Okay, let's just zoom in. So you can allow standard user encryption, we can allow warning for other disk encryption, all sort of options we have enabled. And we can remove the drives configure, we can remove the drives configuration types. Okay, we can look for the status. If you just want to extract the status of the device encryption, you can do it. And other system drives, if you want to disallow for the standard user and all those, so these settings are available. And if you go, so this is available for these editions like Pro, Enterprise, Education, and all, and these versions. So from version 1809, these CSPs are available. Okay, and you can leverage it. And this is especially, this is not available for user. If you see the cross, means this CSP is not available. So you can only define this CSP for device settings, not for the user scope. So this is user, especially like BitLocker is something which is an inbuilt feature of operating system. Okay, that does not matter which user is logged in or not, but you can tidy it up by the device settings and you can make this customization accordingly. Okay, and if you allow admins to enforce required device encryption policy for scenario where policy is pushed, so these things, if it's a standard user or non-user, that does not matter. Whosoever is currently logged in, it will enforce this device encryption policy. Okay, and how this will set? So 0, that means it will take the silent encryption and this will be enforced. Okay, so these things you can take understanding how and what settings should we consider and where we can enable this. If you allow warning for other disk encryption is not set, you can set it to 1. So all sort of things. So if you understand here, 1 is talking about the device encryption which is required, and this does not matter whosoever is logged in on the machine, this will be enforced. And 0 is a default, so default settings means the policy is not set. Okay, so no device encryption will work. Okay, and policy won't try to enable encryption on the device. Why? Because it's the option is set as 0. So all sort of things we can understand. Okay, and what changes we can do. This is a default script which is enabled, and this is specially to disable this policy. So if there is any policies which is already there and you just want to simply disable that, so you, for each policy there is an XML file that you can simply copy and you can use in your CSPs, and that what it will do, it will disable that policy straight away. Okay, so this is straight away, this is by default, like given by Microsoft. You don't need to make any changes. For each policies there is a default disable policy syncml, and that you can utilize. So next session and the next slide we will talk about what is the syncml and how does this work. So you need to understand what is the default value, what does it mean by 0, okay, what is the mean of 1. Okay, so all sort of things you need to, when you are putting this in your infrastructure, when you are imposing such settings, so you must read out all these things, okay, before, because if you are making any changes, if you do not know what it will make effect of, so it's better to go through this page and see what is allowed values, okay, and what is not allowed. So if you are setting something encryption method by drive, so this is available for all these. Okay, and this is the device, this is the CSP. Okay, this is what the policy you are going to create, and these are the values. Okay, this is the default syncml, and these are the policies value that you can make change yourself. So let's talk about the BitLocker. We are done, and let's understand something, what I was telling you. Reboot. Let's talk about the reboot. Okay, so how does reboot work? So for example, I want to do a reboot now settings. Okay, so we need to go to this, device vendor MSFT and reboot. Okay, under that we can go to reboot, or we can do a schedule as well, which will create a scheduler that will run in the background at a specific interval, whatever time you want. And this is available for Windows 10, 16 or 7. All sort of device settings are available. So if I want to invoke the reboot now, I need to punch in this CSP, okay, data. Then we need to, if I'm going for the schedule, if I just want to do a schedule, so I can simply go to this, and there we need to look for the get type. If I just want to understand what is the supported operation, so we can get it from here. For example, I want to create a schedule or daily recurrent. Okay, in that case we will use this device CSPs. Okay, this is what we are going to put in our Intune. Okay, and value is in this ISO format. Okay, so it says like if you are just want to restart, okay, or you want to schedule a time which you want to restart the machine. For example, today is 4th, right? So I can mention like 2025, and then October 10, and this is 4th, And timing, I will mention like whatever time is it, like 1:51, maybe 2 o'clock. I'll just mention here 14,000, something like that, and I'll configure this policy. So what will happen at this time interval, the machine will automatically restart. Okay, it will like schedule restart will happen each day until this policy is not deleted, okay, or not disabled. So it will automatically schedule a restart. So these all things, like there are thousands of CSPs which are available that we can utilize, and we can make use of it. For example, if you want to use from VPN or update, let's go to update. Okay, so let's understand. So this particular CSP is available for uh, all sort of editions. So if you looking for home, pro, Windows SC, business, enterprise, and all, so for Windows 10, 11, all these updates, policies or CSPs are available. All right. So this is the format. Okay, this is like a tree. Earlier we used to have like this, so where we have the Microsoft update, then approved updates, approved time, all sort of data we can get it from here. Okay, from the root node update we can get all sort of operations. Using the get, we can get all sort of information about what sort of updates have been there, and what is the real time approved time, and all sort of things we can take it from here. Okay, so and these are the integer value. So every settings, every CSP is associated with different values. Some of them are associated with values like integer, some of them are associated with value like boolean, some of them are associated value with string, all sort of things. So you need to go through this value and need to understand, is it integer, it is a string, or it is boolean, whatever. So accordingly we can make use of it. Okay, so let's come to our slide. Okay, so that was, don't get confused, because we'll do the lab and we'll do the demonstration, so that will it will make better clear understanding about it. Okay, so let's understand. Hmm. Sorry, Vimla, go ahead.
Yeah. So these are all Microsoft predefined
Predefined
predefined as
CSPs.
well.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Vishal.
So these are the predefined CSPs which are available, and we can utilize these by just referring what sort of values will be, okay, and what command will do what. Okay, access type like exit and get, all sort of things we can do it. So if you want to schedule a time for the device to restart, so we can do it accordingly as per the time frame as I sent. So we can make use of it. Okay, so these are like, you just lots of, like maybe it's thousand something settings within the settings, within the CSPs. So you can utilize each one of them, you can go through, you can run on your test environment and check it out, how does this thing work. So if you want to do some Wi-Fi settings, Wi-Fi CSPs, okay, so you can also make use of it. Okay, so Wi-Fi is settings configuration is available for both, for user and for the device. So this is available for both, and this is available for both the scope, user and device, and this is applicable for all the OS versions, and this is how the device policy will something look like. Okay, and then you need to identify the property value. So this is gonna be access type is get. So accordingly we can set the device profile, SSID, and all sort of things. You can customize it in your environment. So we'll run through some test, and we will see the demonstration, how does that work. Okay, so let's understand the OMA or UMA-URI. Okay, what it is. So as I think we already talked about it, but it's very simple. So this is like an address that is pointing to a specific settings on a device. Okay, it is as simple. This will help you to make the changes through your Intune. Okay, this will help you to finding the right settings, and
Varda cannot hear you.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Now,
Yeah,
now,
can you hear me now?
now
Okay.
we lost
So,
that.
okay, yeah, I understand. There was some disruption in the Wi-Fi. So I was saying that this OMA URI, what it does, it's like an address, okay, which will point you to the specific settings on the device. Okay, this will help your Intune to figure it out, to finding the right settings and make a change of it accordingly. Okay, this is a full path which will tell your settings exactly where is it located on your system. Okay, and these paths usually starts from the device root, okay, like MSFT, as we mentioned, as we saw all the available CSPs with Microsoft. Okay, and that is where you can go deep and dive and you can extract the exact settings. Okay, so it will give you the only root. Okay, as we see that we were talking about the root. Okay, so this is what he's talking about. This is the root. Okay, so if you look at this, so this is the root. This is what the your this is your OMA URI. This is what, and then you can deep dive into other settings and you can figure it out where I should go, right? So let's come here. So I'll just share some real example, okay, real world example here. So if I say this, if you want to turn on BitLocker encryption, okay, using your Intune, so how would you do that? So you will definitely look for the settings. So this is where I need to go. All right, so this is the part which is there from the starts from the device root, then it goes to the vendor, then MSFT, then you go to BitLocker, then required device encryption. So this is how the policies breakdown works. Okay, you need to figure it out before applying the policy, how deep I need to go and what setting do I need to touch upon. Okay, accordingly you can understand the breakdown. So you need to go to that Microsoft documentation for the CSP, particular CSP. I need to take a note of it, like which setting I'm going to make change through the Intune and what is the correspond path for that particular setting. Okay, so that was OMA URI. Okay, so this is how it looks like if you go to the console. Okay, and if you go to device configuration, from there if you create a new device configuration profile and then you create a profile, choose platform as Windows 10 and later, and under templates, okay, you will see there is a custom sort of things. Okay, so that custom is nothing that, but this is talking about the Microsoft built-in settings. Okay, so Microsoft Intune includes many built-in settings to control different features on a device. You can create custom profiles which can be created similar to built-in profiles as well. Okay, these custom profiles are great when you want to use device settings and features that are not built in to Intune. Means these settings are not available in Intune, but device already carrying that settings, and these are already exposed, but we just need to leverage those. Okay, so through custom policy we can create this. So these profiles include features and settings for you to control on the device in your organization. For example, if you want to create a custom profile that sets the same feature for every Windows settings, we can do it. Okay, so this is simply they're talking about there are lots of settings which are there in the catalog. Okay, but still some of them if you want to change and natively which are not there by your searching experience, if you don't find these, so you can better go to the custom and you can create the settings accordingly. All right, and this is where you need to see when you're creating a profile, this is what it's talk about, OMA-URI settings. Okay, and this is where you need to define the settings. You need to it is as simple like you are setting up a policy. Okay, then you're giving the name of the policy, description, then what is the path for OMA-URI. Okay, the corresponding settings, and what is the data type. I said it may be it could be like in string. Okay, it could be boolean or it could be integer. Okay, all sort of things. It can be different data set, different data type. So you need to figure it out before you are attempting to create a profile for the OMA URI settings. What data type should you use? Because this is a mandatory field, you cannot skip it. Okay. So this is how it does this look like, and we already referred the page. Let me see what is opening it up. Is this the same or is it different? Uh, okay, I think this is the same we're talking about. Okay, so just to share this, yes. So this is where it says, so what sort of data type are there? So there are options like base 64, boolean, string. String is something when you're using the XML file, okay, that we will use it. Then date and time, as we said, when you are performing a reboot schedule and all sort of things, we can use date and time. Then string is simple. A string is simple, just we are using a normal keyword, okay, or any word which you are using. String means yes or no and whatever. Floating point is something like it can be different point something something, okay, that we can use. Integer is again 1 to, all numeric numbers are integer. Okay, so these are the different settings that we can use. So let's understand what is syncml. Okay, so syncml is a language. Okay, it's called synchronization markup language. So how this protocol works, so whenever your OMA-DM, okay, this protocol is being called, okay, what it does, it sends and receive a settings, okay, that is translated or that is written in XML format, okay, and that XML format is what syncml. Okay, so think of it like a common language that both device and management tool understand. So for example, whatever I'm saying as in English, plain English, I can speak, means I can send it, and you guys are receiving it because you already have that inbuilt mechanism. You're already aware about this language. You know all the words which I'm talking, and you have already used it. Means you are well versed with this XML settings. Okay, so that is where when I need to talk to my device, okay, I need to invoke this OMA-DM, okay, device management protocol, and if I need to tell him to make some changes to the device or tell me some settings which is there in the device, what are the settings, so how would it understand? It will understand in a XML format language. That language is called syncml. Okay, so this language will be sent from Intune, okay, from MDM solution, and that language will be commonly accepted by the device, and then the device will respond as per the understanding. Okay, so it's an open standard, meaning it works across different systems. Okay, it's just not a vendor specific like WMI, which means like WMI will work only for operating system, it will not work for other devices. So any platform, if you are using like Android, iOS or Windows, you can better use this syncml, okay, and that will translate whatever your requirement is, and it will fetch that from the device and it will tell you what to do. Okay, and the device reads the syncml message and applies the settings. So whatever we are configuring, we are keeping it in syncml and we are sending this to the device, and device understand that settings and implies it accordingly. Okay, and this is a standard protocol. Like this makes managing device easier. So syncml is a plain in a plain format, it's just a language which we as an IT admin, we tell Intune to make some changes, and Intune passes that information to OMA-DM, and OMA-DM carries that information and pass it to device. Device reads that language, make the settings, applies it, and sends us the notification that yes, it is successful. Okay, so let's understand the real world example. So whenever Intune is sending a policies to a Windows device like turning on a BitLocker, it uses a syncml to deliver that instruction, and this instruction uh, is in a step in a special format, okay, that is being sent and that device can understand. Okay, So if you send anything in the plain text, it will not understand, right? If maybe I'm into Paris, if I need to speak in the French, I cannot talk them in Hindi, right? I need to aware their language, and accordingly, either I need to uh, catch hold of some translator, okay, who can translate my language, who can better make them understand what I am looking forward. So for example, if I'm looking for some place and I don't know, so I will catch hold of one translator. I will tell him, like, tell this guy, take me to maybe XYZ location in Paris. Okay. So I will tell him in Hindi or plain English, and he will translate in French, and then I will go to. The same way, SyncML is like that, stranger, what I would say, or the translator who will take your information and pass it on to device, and device will read it out and make the settings accordingly. Here, this is SyncML. All right. So what is the process here? Let's understand how the SyncML works. So first of all, SyncML is like, it is it is like, if I need to send an alert, okay, and I want to sync that information, and I want to sync that into mobile device. So first step, what I will do, I will send a alert, okay, and that I want to sync, okay. Then computer, what it will do, it will reply with the status to accept the request, okay. It will say whether the sync has happened or not, okay. Then mobile sends the sync command, okay. That sync command will add instructions like new context, okay. So synchronization will start happening, okay. Then it will sync the new context on the mobile, and then it will start showing me with the status as confirmed, like, yes, your mobile devices or your computer got the setting, and it has successfully enabled. Okay, so whichever settings we are sending, okay, these are sent in a command, that is grouped into a message, okay. So each commands that is grouped into a message that is being sent, then these commands having a unique message id and cmd id as well, okay. So these two ids are together working, and these unique IDs are being sent to the devices, and then it will capture the response. It will match that message ID and device CMD ID. It will match, and it will confirm that yes, it will confirm the status of the device or settings, whatever you are going to capture. So for example, in real world, if we just see this real world example, so when your phone synchronizes the contacts with your laptop, so it uses a syncml to send each contact one by one, and the laptop confirms each one was received correctly. So whatever synchronization we are doing, okay, these synchronization are being done through syncml, and syncml is the one who groups it in a unique id, and these unique ids are defined in a message id and in a cmd id, okay. These message id and cmd's id are different for each command, okay, and each command carries this unique id which matches with your mobile and with your laptop, and if both are correct, both are similar, then it confirms that yes, we got the data synchronized, and laptop and phone got the synchronization of context. So this is what the syncml process work. This is how it works. Okay. Now Intune and OMA-DM. Okay, what it is and how does this work together? Okay, let's understand. So first of all, let's understand the explanation. So here, Intune is talking to device, okay, in a standard method that is called OMA-DM. Okay, OMA is nothing but Open Mobile Alliance. Okay, so Intune cannot talk to the device in any other form. Okay, they need to talk in a standard method that is called OMA-DM. Okay, then what it does, it sends the settings, okay, that is in a format that is called syncml. Okay, this syncml is nothing but it's a translator which translate your information to the device, This communication happens over the HTTPS. So HTTPS is a secured way of communication. Okay, it ensures that your data is not being leaked and it is being encrypted through the SSL, right? Then it works on your Windows, Android and iOS. Okay, and it is not tied with any one company, means it is not tied with one platform, but it works with all sort of platforms that you can, you know, use and you can utilize it. Okay, and these devices receives their instructions through something called configuration service provider. Okay, so that we will create in our Intune, and we will understand how the settings, we have different scenarios together, and we will try to comprise and we'll work on that. Okay, and CSPs are in charge. Okay, so CSPs take charge of making the changes or any settings which are going to turn it on and turn it off. CSPs are the one which are responsible of doing this. Okay, so for example, if in the real world, if your company wants to turn on BitLocker on all the laptops, so what it does, Intune sends the instructions using the OMA-DM, okay, and SyncML. So these two, the SyncML will translate the message. Okay, the CSPs on the laptop reads it and turns on the BitLocker. Okay, I'll just see if I can refer the image again. Okay, so I'm sure that you guys are getting confused because lots of terms are being used. Okay, so first of all, understand this: CSPs are coming from the operating system. Okay, CSPs are coming from the operating system. So if you understand this real world example, this is what we are talking about when you are doing a BitLocker turn on. Okay, so this is where I think you guys are getting confused. Okay, so let's see. This is where when you're talking about, it's using OMA, DM, Sync, ML, and CSPs. So there are three terms are being used. All right. So OMA, DM, Sync, ML, and CSPs. So let's understand, break it down each one by one. So CSPs are the features or settings which are exposed by the operating system. All right, this is an operating system behavior, operating system settings, okay, which is there. So these settings are called configuration settings, which is sitting on the device, and these all are tied up with a particular registry. If you can notice that this is tied up with this particular registry. All right, this is with the registry. So all these wallpaper settings, power on, all these are tied up with the different registry keys, and that is what called CSPs, configuration settings. All right, second thing is OMA-DM protocol. So this is a protocol which is being used to invoke these CSPs. Okay, and these CSPs are invoked, exposed already when OMA-DM protocol is being used, which is in a XML format. If you guys can see this, this is in XML format. Okay, this is XML, and that is XML is called sync ML. Okay, so this is what it is, uh, already in, message which is being already encrypted, and in the sync ML this is being translated through OMA-DM. All right, and then policies which are we are creating a policies through Intune service. These policies are configured using the OMA-URI. Okay, so OMA wins Open Mobile Alliance. Okay, and this is called OMA, which is Open Mobile Alliance Uniform Resource Identifier. Okay, so this OMA-URI will point to a specific CSP in the device. Okay, if you guys can read it out. So this is pointing to specific CSPs in the device. So CSP is coming from Windows operating system or from the device itself. OMA-DM is a protocol which is being used during this communication. Sync ML is a communication language which is being targeted or which is being used, And OMA URI is a configuration settings which we are creating through Intune to invoke or to use these CSPs. So target these CSPs. Okay. I hope this is clear. Is any confusion? Please ask. Otherwise, we will jump into the demonstration where we will perform and we will look for it. Okay. Any confusion, guys?
Sorry. Can you repeat the last bit
No?
once again? Sorry. Can you repeat the last bit once again? Hello? Vaibhav, are you able to hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Chilam, can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Vaibhav. Yes. Can you
So,
just, yeah.
okay. I'll repeat again. So CSPs is like configuration settings which is exposed by the operating system. Okay, all sort of settings which we saw on the Microsoft page in the documentation. So all these settings which are there exposed by the operating system. So this is a feature which is there on the device itself, which is already exposed outside of the world so that IT admin can utilize this. Okay. So this is called CSP. Okay. And each CSPs are each settings which are tied up, okay, with a corresponding this particular registry key. Okay, so all the Bluetooth, wallpaper, power and all sort of things, these having a separate registry entries for this. So if you are making any changes in the CSPs, these will take down to a particular registry, it will sit in that. Okay, so this is called CSP. Then I was telling, like, for Intune, so when Intune is sending any changes or is just requesting for any settings to change, it is using the OMA-DM. Okay, this is called a protocol. It is like when you're using a Citrix, this is like when you're using a Citrix and you are just trying to connect to Citrix environment, there it is being used a protocol called ICA. Okay, what ICA does, it leverage that connects in between your device and the Citrix environment through which you can connect, and then you can you can experience that Citrix environment. The same way, when Intune is trying to connect, okay, or trying to use these settings or read these CSPs, they need to use a protocol that is called OMA-DM. Okay, and that protocol is there in the language that is called XML, that is SyncML. Okay, in that SyncML they have kept that message, whatever Intune is trying to achieve from the device, that is there, and that XML is being translated over through this protocol, and then device understand what it needs to do or what changes it needs to accept, and then it take it. Okay, and then whatever policy we are configuring, okay, that policy is being called through OMA-URI. Okay, it is simple. URI is something like what I say, it's something like a configuration settings, okay, which is there, which we, from Intune we are just trying to create and achieve it. Okay, any confusion in this so far?
No. Thank you, Vaibhav.
URI is confirmed, right? Uniform Resource Identifier.
Yeah.
So each OMA URI is pointing to its specific CSPs in the device. Okay. So whatever policies we are creating through Intune, that is in the form of OMA URI, and these are pointing to CSPs which is there on the device itself. Okay. And this OMA URI is being traveled through a protocol that is called OMA-DM, and that OMA-DM uses a SyncML. That way we establish a communication and we tells device what to do. Clear? This part is clear?
Yes, Vaibhav. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the differentiation. Okay, when we're talking about group policies versus MDM. Okay, so uh, what is difference in between two? Okay, so let's understand one by one. So first of all, if you say group policy, okay, so group policy is especially designed from a server side, okay, where we are having a domain controllers, okay, where we have uh, domain services enabled, we have a forest and all sort of things. So there we can create a group policy, and that requires a feature called management server. Okay, then there is a storage location. That is, let's understand the difference also. So here we require a domain controller, okay, and this is where we do not require any particular server, we just require a MDM server. Means, example, we just require a tenant, okay, like in Intune. This is where it goes in a storage location. So group policies are sitting in sysvol folder. Okay. Here, mobile device management, we have a Intune database, okay, which captures all this. We do not require to get access to this database. We do not require to have this presented on an offline server or something like that. It's all plain cloud based. Okay. When you're doing a group policies, so you are creating a client side extension. Okay, so whatever changes you're performing on the computer, that goes into the client side extension. Okay, through this we can achieve this. But at the same time, when you're doing it through Intune, this is going to be a configuration service provider, CSPs. So, okay, taking it precedence. Then communication protocol. So whatever information we are trying to achieve, or we are sending it, okay, that goes into a server message block, that is called SMBs. Okay, whatever feature you are going to enable or disable, or whatever things you are going to change, that will go through SMB only. Okay, that is a communication protocol. At the same time, here in mobile device management, we require only HTTPS for the communication that to be established. Then input method. So we have in Windows, we have INI files. Okay, that INI files especially, reserves all sort of changes and configuration settings which we are trying to impose on machine, or we just wanting to make change of settings. However, at the same time, from mobile device management, if you are pushing any settings, okay, it takes it into syncml format, in XML based format. Okay, so group policy is quite cumbersome. Like, you have to have a on-premise setup, you have to have on-prem domain server, then you have to have your domain services enabled, then you have forest, and then you create a group policies, and you need to create a policies which is specially dedicated to make some changes, all sort of things. So lots of involvement are here. But here with mobile device management is straightforward. You just need to have NVM server. Okay, you need to have a database, which is again Intune itself carries. You don't need to dedicatedly create any database and make change or whatever you need to do. And configuration service provider is the settings which is already exposed by the computers or devices. You just need to figure it out which settings you're going to touch upon. You can create a OMA-DM. You can use protocol OMA-DM, and through OMA-URI, you can, URI means, if you understand, it's resource identifier. Okay, so URI means where you are defining the exact path. Okay, this is where you are defining the exact path, that this is where we need to go and touch upon this particular policy. So that is called resource identifier. Okay, URI, uniform resource identifier. And then HTTPS is a secure communication, and then syncml is a language through which we talks to devices. Okay, now let's understand the logs. So how we can read the logs and all sort of things. So especially when you are doing like for any diagnostic, you are simply running a log here. So you go to the settings, accounts, access, work and school, and then you click on that info and then create a report. Okay, so this is where you create a report which goes to MDM diagnostic folder under the documents, and you can, this is a huge document. You can look forward what sort of settings have you made, and all sort of policies which are coming through group policies and all, everything is captured in this MDM diagnostic log. Okay, what sort of key checks that you should look for? Okay, so first thing is that MDM diag HTML report. Okay, so this report is where you can look forward for the applying MDM configuration settings and all. MDM diag report.xml, this includes the OMA-URI paths, CSPs and applied values. And registry dump.reg, this is a dumps where all sort of MDM's locations. So we are mainly we are looking for this and this. Okay, and the next thing is event log. So event log is very crucial. This is where you need to, so I remember for MDM solution, like for Intune troubleshooting, mainly we go for the MDM diag report and the event logs. Okay, these two logs are commonly used for majority of the troubleshooting. Okay, so these are the two logs where event viewer and logs where you need to first extract the information and get to see what's exactly changed has happened. Okay, this is where you need to go application services log, Microsoft Windows device management enterprise diagnostic, and under that you will get to see admin. Okay, under that you will see all sort of events and what is happening on the device. Okay, so yeah, so what are the entries you should look in MDM diag? Okay, so if you are looking something like slash device vendor MSFT policies and all, it means that in this report the OMA URI entries are configured like this, and these represents these path which I'm talking about. Okay, this is what it says, that these represents the OMI-URI paths which is pushed by Intune or any other MDM solutions. So if there is any blockage has happened on the device, and if user says that I'm unable to view my documents folder or I'm unable to see the restart button. Okay, so here it is a restart button. Okay, uh, restart or sleep button or whatever. So for example, if user says I'm unable to see that, which means there is some configuration settings that has been pushed and that has disabled the particular feature on the device. So you can better look into this. All right, so there are some common use cases which I have just created just for you for example. So for example, if I say device local storage restriction, I want users like I want to disable the local storage. For example, I just want to disable the C drive, so users can't save anything on the device drive. Okay, so I can create this. I can go to this OMA URI path and I can create this CSP. Okay, so for Chrome ingestion, Chrome ingestion is a different world altogether, so I'm not just gonna touch upon it. There's lots of involvement in different settings. So I will see if I can create a separate video on that, or we'll have a separate class on that. But that is quite cumbersome. Okay, we cannot cover in one class. For BitLocker encryption, this is what the CSP information is there, require device encryption, and we can set the exact policy. Okay, if you want to override ESPs, okay, you can enable white glove. You can set this OMA URI and you can achieve this. I want to create a local admin account, though you can definitely use a custom, like you can use a PowerShell or you can use a provisioning package. I will not suggest to go directly through CSPs. Okay, power management, if I want to look for the various settings for the power, I can enable a CSP and we can look for the various settings altogether. If I want to change a desktop URL image, okay, I can. So we'll try to do all these silly things here, and in the test environment I will see how does this work. Okay, so desktop image, device vendor and all this is where you can set a URL and you can see if that is changing or not. And then logged screen image, if you want to change the logged screen image for all the devices on in your organization, you can do it. Configuring group membership, so typically we are doing this through PowerShell, which is quite easy, not go with the CSPs. Okay, it's not required. Then hide restart shutdown option, as I said, I'm seeing this restart and shut down all this, so I can disable it directly from here. I can go to this hide power buttons, and accordingly I can make the changes using the option. What options should I choose? Okay. And configuring the start layout. So this layout, if you see, so this layout is something is, you know, maybe we can make some changes. Okay, we can see what users should see, like Edge, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all sort of things. I don't want this cluttered layout, so I can make a standard start layout, okay, for that user. And we can create a scheduling reboot. Okay, so scheduling reboot, we can do a timing, and accordingly we can make the changes. All right. So that was the common use cases that is available. So these are the example which we are going to run. So first thing, we are just looking for the restrict local storage. Okay, data type we will use as boolean, and value will choose at true. Okay, and this policy will typically deployed. What it will do exactly, so when the policy is applied, File Explorer will not show the downloads folder. Okay, user cannot access other folders like documents, desktop, C drive. Okay, and even if the user is trying to run a path, like if I say C, okay, and C colon and this, so I can better, you know, access my drive. But here, if you apply this settings, this policy, okay, it will not work like this. Okay, so that was the first example. Second one is the background image change. So if I use this OMA-URI and using this string, so I can give a particular value in the form of image or .jpg, and then your, what I say, this will apply as a background image. Okay, and if I want to disable, sorry, if I just want to disable the camera, so we will go to this OMA-URI path, we'll use boolean and we'll choose the false, so this will disable the camera. Okay, next, shutdown button. So if we want to hide the power button, we can enable this shutdown button and we'll, you know, see what is happening. Then BitLocker encryption, if you want to encrypt the BitLocker, so we can enable it as true and it will encrypt the BitLocker. And next is change lock screen image. So this is where if you want to change the screen lock image, this is what the OMA-URI you will use, and this is the string, and this is the value of your lock screen image. And then reboot policy, for example, I want to do a reboot, so I can do a reboot now, and I can choose as a boolean as a data type, and then value is true, so it will enforce that policy and it will ask me to reboot. Okay, so let's do some demonstration, and then after we will do a, what do you say, quick quiz. Okay, so let me quickly go to the I think it's already running in the background. Let's connect. Okay, so to achieve this, first of all, your system should have your, you know, like it should be added to the domain. Okay, and let me check if this device is on the domain or not. And I'm going to dissolve my, I'll remove everything from my lab and I'll reset it up again. Okay, so we will, because it's been old now, I just want to delete everything and reset up it up. Okay, so let me log in. Okay, so good to see that this is already there. So this device is already enrolled, and so policies, health monitoring, device data protection, all sort of policies are already there, and device is synced to 10:45 a.m. Okay, so let's sync it again. It will like 2:36 p.m. now, so we'll sync it. Meanwhile, we will go to the console And where is the console? Here it is, maybe. Yep, here it is, the console. And let's go and make some changes. Okay, so I'm currently logged in with my profile. Guys, can you see this? And I'm just, yeah. So I'm just going to the devices, okay, and configuration. And I already have a couple of policies created. So I'll just create a new policy and let me choose the Windows 10 later. Okay, so I'm creating a policies Windows 10 and later, and I'll choose the template. Okay, and this is where it says custom. Okay, let's click on custom and click create. Okay, and let's make a policy from here. So uh, 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 okay, so lock screen storage, we'll do it later. Last thing, let's do the device URL. Okay, and let's see, this is desktop image. Okay, create. So this is what it says, OMA-URI settings. Okay, we'll click on add. Okay, and this is the name says, so desktop image and desktop image. Okay, this is where we are going to set the personalization, and this is gonna be, so if you guys can see, we talked about it, different set of data types are available, so you need to ensure which data type you're going to use. So now here with the desktop URL, I cannot use data type, date and time, integer or floating time, boolean or base, all sort of things. So I need to go with string. Okay, and a string value I need to give it here so that I can give a particular image. So let me see if I can uh, go to enactance.odu. Let me see if I can open this image. Okay, let me see if this works. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, and let's save it and let's make next. Okay, and let me see which group is this trainer account is added. I think it's there in PKC's demo, right? Just let me check in the group. Okay, let me go to the trainer. Trainer. Admit trainer. Okay, there are 3 group membership are showing, and which groups is it? Okay, so PKC's demo is there. This company portal is there, MSFT. Okay, so let's add it to PKC's demo. Okay, let's select that. Okay, applicability rule. I don't think you require this, but if there is any OS edition that you are targeting, okay, especially you don't want to make changes for other operating systems or something like that, you can make it. Usually we are having enterprise, okay, in our environment, so we can use the enterprise tick, but you don't need to make the customization or applicability rule. Okay, you can skip that. On OS version, if you want to enable this OS version from one set of version to another, like 23s2 to 24s2, something like that. So you can better use it, but I would say I'm not using it. Okay, and it's simple. If you're using this for other customizations, okay, so you can definitely make it just for testing if you just want. So you can make it according to the versions and you can test it out. Otherwise it's not needed, and we will just check it. So this is the string and this is the value. Okay, this is targeted to this, and this settings we'll just have a review on it and we'll just do the create. Okay, so this profile is created now, and let's do a refresh. Okay, so this is the custom settings, and this is where you can see the assignment or all sort of things, and this is the URI settings. Okay, and this is what we can edit it maybe if we want to change it. So I don't think this is required here. Okay, but let's see let's see if that works. Not sure. Okay, and let's come to okay, and then we'll do one thing. We'll create the another set of settings as well. So this was disable camera, and let's create another one for shutdown buttons. Okay, and let's make another settings, another configuration settings, and this time it will be shutdown buttons. Okay, okay, Windows 10 and templates and custom create, and this is where shutdown button. Okay, now let's go and look for this path and shutdown button. This is the path. Okay, and data type is boolean, so we will use boolean here, and the value would be true. Okay, so what we are going to achieve, we are going to disable the shutdown button. Okay, altogether. So we're just going to do this. Next, group, I think I'll use the same group. Let's see, pkcs demo, same, and let's do the apply and create it. Okay, before going to this, let's check whether we have options available. So we have shutdown, restart, disconnect, all sort of policies, like all these buttons are showing up here. And let me sync it and let's see. Okay, and we can create another policies as well for the lock screen image. Okay, let's create a lock screen image. We'll create another profile, new, platform, support, templates. So usually if you go to templates, okay, so you have plenty of options available. Okay, so if you want to configure specific for the BIOS settings, you can do it. If you want to go for the delivery optimization, device restriction, if I go to device restriction and I just create here, okay, and let me just take it like this. So lots of things, lots of device settings like cellular connectivities, all sorts of things you can configure. For Bluetooth, like if you want to block the Bluetooth, you can do cloud storage. If you want to minimize the access of cloud storage, you can do all sorts of things. If you have a cloud printer, okay, you can add that printer information. Control panel settings, okay, so all sort of things, like if you don't want to show them apps, you can block it. Okay, you want to disable the time and language option. Okay, you want to disable the gaming thing so that they cannot use the gaming option features. In display, if you want to includes some sort of application. Okay, so you can turn it on and turn it off. Lock screen experience, the way, okay, it says lock screen picture URL desktop only. So this is where you can put a particular image, okay, and that way you can synchronize a centralized lock screen experience for all the users. Okay, if you want to lock the Cortana screen, you can do it from here. You want to disable the lock screen, toast notification on the lock screen, you can do all sort of things. And messaging and network proxy, if you have anything you want to set any network proxy, you can do all sort of things. Passwords, you already aware of, like you can set up require password and accordingly you can make the changes. What will be the password length, uh, will it be alphanumeric and all sort of things, you can do it from here. And personalization, if you want, you can make the desktop URL here as well. Okay, that will work as a desktop background image. So sometimes if you do not see the settings and these settings are not available, you can definitely directly go to custom and you can make the changes accordingly. All right, so we were talking about which policy was that, lock screen image. Okay, so let me see if I can create one, and let's create here and lock screen. Okay, and let's go lock screen, and this is the lock screen image, and data type will be string. And okay, and let's see if I can, let me take another picture. Microsoft background. Okay, so let's see this one. I can open a new tab, and okay, so this one is that we are going to use. Here it is. So screen.jpg, and this is gonna be a lock screen. Okay,
Vaibhav,
and yep.
one thing, actually you're copying the URL in the value, right? Value tab, basically. So yeah.
This
So
one?
in the
Yeah.
so you see the value heading at the bottom, right? You have copied the link. Yeah.
So
So
means we are giving the path in the value.
yeah. So generally it would be if the description would be path as an heading instead of value, and then we know that it's a path. But when you say the value, will that be the URL which would be giving here basically, or can we give anything else as well apart from this alternately?
No. So what will happen here? So we are pointing this particular image to go and become as a lock screen for that device.
Okay.
Okay. So this URL will be fetched by this OMA-URI. Okay, and this resource locator will put this image as a default lock screen image for that device.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just confused here. Like you were in the previous examples also, you have just copied the URL. So I was just checking where and how it was getting
So
copied.
previously I was doing a desktop URL image, and this is now a lock screen
Lock screen
image. So in both the images we require a image URL, right? That's why you are getting confused, because these are two similar settings we are creating.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. So lights, it's a good question. I mean, good observation. I liked it. So let's go to this and let's create next, and let's make a create. Okay. So I have applied so many policies here. So let's wait for this. Okay. Good news is, like, it's changed. So now Connect10 Spaces has a desktop background image. Okay, and this policy has came down Now let's look for the start and look for the buttons. So still this has not changed, but let's see if we can do a sync. And what is the name of this machine first of all? So I'll do a sync from the uh, CMD, and host name is client1. Okay, so let's see what is happening with the client1. Okay, device1, devices, and Windows, and client1. Okay, this is the client1. So first thing, I will run a sync from here, and don't do retire, just sync. Okay, sync. So now this sync request has been initiated. This is going to be in a sync ML. Okay, now this sync ML will reach to the device. It will say, I want to sync all these settings on your device, and then that device will send the information back stating that yes, sync has been synchronized. So now 251, I think we have recent changes. Okay, so this has not updated yet. Okay, I'll see the configuration here. Okay, and that was the shutdown button, right? Okay, so let's see the report, because I don't think this has still evaluated. Okay, no, it's not yet done. Okay, so this particular settings, we simply created a shutdown. Okay, so okay, let's go to this hide power button option. Okay, let's go here and let's go to the Microsoft page where we were. This was the shutdown, right? Shutdown. So what was that? Wait a second. In the console, this was under the hide power button, under the config and start. Okay, so let's go to the reboot. Or we can do one thing, we can straight away go to this here. Okay, and we can type hide power button plus CSP plus Intune. Okay, so it will show something, policy CSP start. Okay, so this is where this setting is there. If you can see under the policy, okay, this particular setting is there. Okay, and if I'm looking at the right things, policy CSP, and where is the start? Where is it gone? Wait a second. No, I don't think this one is the one. That is Microsoft Learn. I think this is under the client management. Okay, look for the hide power. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so look for the hide power button. Okay, this says this is the device level scope, and this particular setting is not available for the user. Okay, and this says that you need to go to this OMA URI path. Okay, and this is where you need to enable this policy hides the power button from appearing in the start menu. Okay, this is the policy which talking about. Okay, default value is showing as 0. Okay, access type is add, delete, get, replace, all sort of things. Okay, and it says available values are 0 means don't hide, 1 is means hide. Okay, and let's see what did we choose. Okay, so 1 is say hide, right? And we changed it to true. And okay, format should be in integer. Okay, wait a second. So okay, I think I have changed this to boolean. Okay, let me it will not allow me to change, I believe, because okay, let me delete this. Okay, and let's create the, oh sorry, what was that, shutdown, right? Okay, my bad. It's not boolean. So shutdown button. So this is how you will get to see if there is any thing which is not working. So you need to troubleshoot that. So it says you need to go to integer and value. It is telling me to use as value in the format is integer, and value, if I choose 1, it will hide. Okay, so let me see if I choose a value 1 and let me save it and review it, and let me save it again. Okay, and just let me give it some time. Okay, and let's see. Usually booleans should also work, but let's see. Okay, so just wait for the policies to synchronize and let's see what is happening. And the same screen, okay, let me lock this and let's see if this has changed or not. So okay, so lock screen is also working. Okay, we have a Windows Microsoft background which we had configured already, that is also working. And let's unlock this machine if I remember my password correctly. Yep, okay, perfect. So this is also working fine, and let's synchronize it and then we will check the start. Okay, what else did we try doing it? Enable BitLocker and all, and reboot policy. Okay, let's try the first one. Okay, so restrict local storage. Okay, and restrict local storage. Let's check here. Restrict local. It's not coming. Local storage. Okay, this storage is not coming. It means it's not available here. Okay, let's go to policy. Okay, restrict local storage. I had seen somewhere. I think under the storage must be there. Storage. Okay, storage. No, it's not there. Local storage. It's not coming up. Not sure. It's giving me dung 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 music. Okay. So let's create another one, and let's disable all the local storage. So on this machine, first of all, let's check whether this policy applied or not. So all right, it's not applying. Not sure why this policy is not coming up on this machine. One more policy, just going to attempt to create it here, and this policy will disable all sort of access drives on this device. So C drive, documents, or all sort of things which is appearing here. If you go to this PC and you look for it, so you can see the device details is coming, like C drive is coming here, and we're just going to disable this. So let's create a policy and let's make it, and let's see. Okay, custom, create, and disable local storage. Okay, and this setting is just copying it. It's under the shared PC. Okay, it's there. Here it is, shared PC. Okay, under the shared PC, we are going to run the local storage. I think they have made some changes now, and disk level caching is there, disk level deletion is there. Okay, let me see if this policy restrict local storage works or not. Okay, I'm just trying it and let's see. Okay, so this, let me change it. Okay, disable local storage. Okay, and so paste it here, and this is gonna be boolean, and this is gonna be true. Okay, let's see, and add groups. Okay, we can see this demo, and create, and review. Okay. Okay, this one is also done. Shutdown button option, it's there. Not sure why this is not working. This policy. Okay, we'll just go through the logs and check. Okay, so let's go. This is the last policy we're going to create, and we'll see. Okay. Okay, it's not affecting anything here. Shutdown still shows up. Okay. Management servers, exchange ID, fine. Okay, documents, downloads, still accessible. Let's see if the policy is coming up or not. Still in syncing phase. Okay. Okay. And let's go to device and Windows. And where is client one? Is synchronized. Okay, just to update everyone, tomorrow we are going to have an interview, like interview setup call, where we will be bringing one of the former student of Anactons Academy. He got a good opportunity in two of the companies, and he just wanted to share his uh, experience with the interview process. He was part of SCCM and Intune class, and he cracked two interviews. He got two offer letters. So he want to show and let us know what are the interview process was, and what sort of interviews that he was asked, and what preparation did he do, and he wants to share the same across to all us of us. So I want to bring him in the call tomorrow. I'll check with his time, and then I will post a message in the group, so you guys can aware and can connect to that call, so we can use his experience. You can utilize it, and he will share the questions also, what sort of questions that he were asked, and he got it covered, and he cracked that interview. So do not miss tomorrow's session. Okay, he will be available, I think, for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, not sure. I'll check with him, and then accordingly I'll pass the message so everyone can be available and can utilize it. Okay, so that is the announcement. Okay, so shutdown option is not working. Let's see if this, because I think this policy, I'm not sure if this changed or not. But usually this should disable the accessing anything here, or maybe in documents also this should not work. Okay, but I'm not sure if that, because on the Microsoft this policy is not showing up on the shared PC. So maybe they might have removed it. Earlier it was there, we were used to play around with this, and now they had made some changes. One more thing is just to make changes here for the shutdown. Maybe I can do a reboot sort of things if I can figure it out. Reboot. There was some option, was something reboot.
Yeah,
Yeah, here it is. Sorry, I was not able to see it. Okay, so reboot CSP. What does it say? So if I say reboot now, okay, I can use a format says null. Okay, and I can schedule it. Maybe I can use a schedule property values. It says format node, and I can choose a get access type like this. And if I want to make a daily recurrent, so I can schedule something like this, and the value is something is in date. And so let's try this one. Okay, and let's see if this works or not. So let's create a, I was going to click on retire. Okay. The good thing is that retire gives you a second option to think before you click on retire. Okay. So, yeah. So I was talking about the recurrent. Let's create a policy. Okay. And let's make the last policy. Okay. I'm not going to take much time on it. So create custom, create, and schedule restart. Okay, and let's schedule. Okay, I'm just putting this daily current, and okay, so let's come to this. This is saying that you need to use this, so I will date and time, and it says property value with the characters or a string. I can use it, and okay, let's go back here. Okay, let's, if I can use it date and time. So now which date is 4th, and 3, this if I say 15, and 15 possibly, if that works. We'll wait for a couple of, and add group. And so is it easy, right? You can simply create a custom thing, can understand which value should I use and what is the hierarchy where I can go through, and I'll just create this one and refresh. So okay, so this is schedule restart. Okay, and let's come to this machine and do the synchronization, and just wait for a couple of minutes. So we will create a report here and we'll look for the logs as well.
Vaibhav, do we need to manually sync it if we are doing for the mass deployment? No, right?
No. We don't need to manually. Just a quick demonstration. I just want to show you, because we don't need to do this. If the machine is connected over the Wi-Fi or the LAN network, it will automatically synchronize and accept the changes. So if you see the background change and all this has happened, so we don't need to sync anything. So tooth settings is not working. Not sure. The shutdown is still show up. It should go away. And this one, so 315 it will shut down. So let's extract the MDM diagnostic. Okay, and let's see that. Meanwhile, it's synchronizing in background, and accept. So users and public document MDM diag, and this is the report. Okay, so guys, uh, keep your mobile handy. We'll just run a quick quiz after this. This is gonna take 2 minutes more. Meanwhile, we'll just run through this. Okay, and so if you can see this MDM diag report, if you see this my mouse and this scroll bar, so you see there's like infinite, lots of things are there, lots of things that we cover. So when you're working with Microsoft and all, so they used to take this one. Okay, configurations, sources and targets. So if you guys can see, this is coming as resource, vendor and all sort of things. So this is CSPs. Okay, this is coming like this, devices and all these are coming from the CSPs. And if I go down, if I have let me go through and let me search OMA. Is it searching OMA? Okay, it's not searching like this. This is unmanaged policies, and let me check the other policies here. There's lots of things on this machine. Okay. BitLocker, Bluetooth, allow advertising. Let me check if I'm at the right place or not. It says going down. Wait a second. Okay, let's start from here. So which policy? Desktop image URL, you guys can see that. MDM device with AAD. So this one which we just pushed, desktop image that has been worked. Okay, that is there, and lock screen image URL. So two of the policies have been successfully applied on this, and this is coming from the device level. Okay, you can see that. Okay, now I'm not seeing any other policies that has come down yet on this particular machine. Okay, so that is why we are only seeing the two policies which are being affected right now, and the shutdown and other stuff is not working. Okay, so not sure. And in 1 minute next, this machine should restart if the synchronization has happened successfully. Okay, so this is showing 3:10. Okay, let me show what time was there. I think 3:15, right?
Yes.
3:15, I think that was the time. Yeah, so 3:15. I hope this should work, and this should restart the machine automatically. Okay, so that was the thing, and let's go to the event viewer. Okay, and hope it opens up. Okay, so okay, so we will go to this path. Okay, we will look for the application and services logs, Microsoft, Windows, and device enterprise, this device management. Okay, and this should not restart the machine. So event viewer is not open. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this policy is also not affected here because it's been 3:16. So should I make it like 3:16? What is the time format? Wait a second. What is the time format here? It was 10:35. 10:35. So that's fine, right? Should be 15 accordingly, right?
Vaibhav, here it is also saying string as well. Property value. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Hmm.
Yeah. So it also says string, and we have selected date and. I am confused here basically. So it also
I mean,
says
date and time was
date and
also a
time.
value
Yeah.
option there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that has anything to do. I mean, usually that should also work. But
Yeah.
anyway, we can make that thing changed. And okay, let's see if that works. Let's create a new one. Schedule, restart, make it string, and make the timing like this. So we will we will make it like 10, and today is 4th. Timing, let's see, 15 works, right? 15. What is the time now? Let me make it 20. Okay. We are just exhausting the time. We are going beyond the timeline. Right. Just give you the. I'll just run the sync, and we will do the. Uh, where is it gone? Yeah, we'll do the sync again, and we'll go to the application in Microsoft. Okay, and sorry. So here we are. So application and services logs. Then we'll go to Microsoft Windows, and we'll go to device management, and we'll look for the policy. Okay, so just let it open. Okay, let's go to Windows, expand it, and let's go for the device enterprise. Okay, this is where we are, and let's expand and let's go to admin. Okay, so this is where you guys can see the policy thing. Okay, what sort of policies has changed on this? Let me see if I have something. Okay, so here it is. If you, oh, wait, this is going fast. Okay, hide power button policy. Okay, so this has come down here, but somehow this has not worked. Okay, uh, so this following, okay, why it's coming like this? So this following URI has triggered a reboot. Okay, hide power button. Okay, but it's not changed anything. Not sure. We need to go deep and dive. And this is command. So this is something not. This is something different. This is something. Let's go for hide power button option. Result is unknown. Okay, I'm getting an error message here. Command failure status, something like this, and win32 error code is coming like this. So the restart has not happened, and sorry, hide power button did not work. What is the error code? We will look for it. Okay, and policy. This is nothing to be validated. And what else? What policies has we created now? Okay, hide power button is only showing up here. What about the other policies? Okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay. What policy is showing up here? Okay, let me go and find. Desktop. Do we have anything desktop? That's only one is showing desktop management. No, not this one. PDP and fake policy version. Okay, the only I think there is multiple events that has generated for hide power button. Uh, look for the answer for this. Okay, so let's see. Let's do a Google on this. Okay, hide power button CSP error. Okay, let's see what is coming for this. Why this error has come and why the hide power button is not working. Maybe something is it's trying to trigger in the background and it's trying to run it, but it's not working at all. The good thing is internet is also not working. Okay, let it wait for some time. Let's come back here and let's paste this error message. Hide power button plus CSP error. Uh, CSP event. Windows is allowed to use standby state when the policy something has. Okay, we'll troubleshoot later. I mean, it's lots of jargons here, and it's not actually going to start working. Likely returned when an attempt to use configuration fails. It is not a specific CSP event for hiding the power, and to hide the power button you must use the appropriate policy CSP. Okay, so it says you need to use it's not a CSP. Okay, that's a problem. I mean, but it announces this is when deploying Intune policy. The correct method to hide the power button is navigate to configuration profiles. Okay, so they say this, so this is what they're saying. We need to create a new policy. Okay, with the new policy and all this settings catalog, we need to take it from the catalog. Okay, and then we need to choose hide platform. So what exactly they are telling, why this is not working, because they have already added it into the catalog itself. So because of that, I believe there is a conflict happening, and that's why it's uh, let's go to setting catalog and look for some shutdown button. Okay, and let's go for the shutdown, and I think it's gonna be in reboot and the shared PC. Maybe it was in shared PC, right? uh, where was it? The under the setting catalog hide power options, but I don't see under this. Okay. Where hide power option is there?
Can you check on power, Vaibhav?
That's what I'm confused.
There is a power
Uh,
option.
I think in the power option it
Can
should
you go
be there
down?
because he's
Can
talking
you go
about
down?
the power.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
looking
here
for that.
up. Yeah, power.
Here it is. Yes, power options. Uh,
So you have the turn, select sleep button, select power button action plugged in.
this one.
Uh,
This will
It's
action
sleep
take
button
one
actually.
hibernate. No. It will
About
not
to,
work like that.
about to.
This
Just a little bit up. Select power button action. Okay, it's another option.
this will configure power options actually.
Yeah.
I'm looking for something not okay. Let me search here. Hide power. Is it coming? Here it is. Good. So, or maybe in start also we can get it. So remove hide power button option is there in start. Okay.
Mhm.
So okay. So that option is here. Now let's go and enable it. Okay. So this will hide the power button. There are 41 other settings also, which yep.
Vaibhav, so is that mean that there are already default templates available which we need to use
Yes.
this, and if
Correct.
we are trying to create a new one, it is
Yes.
not, it is rejecting
If
because
those
it is already there.
yes. So CSPs work only for those settings which is not there with Intune. Okay. But that settings is already there in your Windows operating system. So what if leverage that we can use a OMA URI. Okay. Understood? So since this was already there and we were also trying through OMA URI, so this was keep on failing. That's what we checked in our event viewer. Correct. Now let's where is the machine? Uh, Here it is. I think. Yeah. So now this policy should work, and we should see something is happening here. And just wait for a couple of. The machine is not restarting. Maybe it's disconnected from the network itself. Okay, so network actually it's not working. I believe that's a problem. I'm not sure why the network is gone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Network is there, right? Okay, it says no network access. Not sure it was working fine. And is there any airplane mode or something like that? No. Okay, so let's see. So shutdown button is there. I'm not sure if the because of the internet it's not taking that or what, but usually this should work now because now we have defaulted the uh, settings from the Intune itself. Okay, so we should see some changes here in hide power button now. So this is how we need to troubleshoot and need to figure it out what has caused the problem, why the event is not working, and all sort of things. So internet is not working on this machine, maybe due to which the latest policy is not arriving, and accessibility airplane mode is not there. Not sure why. What changed? Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just shut down this machine and restart. Okay, maybe that will fix the problem and it will enable the internet. Okay, so let's come back, guys. Let's do a quick quiz. Okay, please scan the code and attempt the quiz right away and give me the understanding of yours. So from every session now, from this, we will have a quiz like this. So you need to scan, you need to, analyze your knowledge and let me know what is your score and where did you go wrong. I've also mentioned the errors, like correct answers as well. So better you can question me why this is correct, why this is incorrect, and all sort of things. Okay, so you started, everyone?
Yeah, just scan now. Yes.
Okay, please start and let me know. So I can't see the scores, okay, because that option I don't have that option right now. So but you guys being like ईमानदारी से बता देना, okay? be very truthful for that, because that will help you in the long run. Vimla, you are also scanning, right? Scanned it?
Yes, I understand. Doing that.
Okay, yep, sure. Let's start.
Responsibilities. OMA-DM stands for.
So I have 7 out of 3.
Okay, who completed? 7 out of 3. Why? What have you?
Two of them I have.
Where is your wrong?
One is the BitLocker. I was to choose BitLocker, but I choose the encryption. And one is where the
Okay.
I remember where it is. I can see the option where I filled. And one is the I think device I need to choose, but then I choose the profile. So I thought I should get
Okay.
more
Okay.
than 5.
So, oh, okay, no problem. So you can reattempt the quiz, okay, and you can restart. You can do all again, and you can see. This is where you will rehearse what you learned, and if there is anything that goes wrong, so you can refer it why it was wrong. What about you, Ketan? Vimla, Nagesh, Mobin, Chidam?
5 out of 7. Vaibhav.
I'm do I'm doing,
Okay.
I'm still
What?
doing. Just give me to 1 minute.
Okay. What
Last
is
two.
two wrong, Nagesh?
One is for BitLocker option,
Okay.
and another one is for update setting.
Okay. 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 So this is your homework for BitLocker CSP. Just go through and run through all sort of subsettings which are available, and look for the encryption what is there, and just try doing this on your lab tenant and see if that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Who completed next? Vimla?
Why was 6 out of 7?
Okay. Great. Which one is wrong for you? BitLocker?
No. The one which allow Corona.
Okay, so allow Cortina.
Yeah.
Vaibhav, I
Yeah.
think that is wrong.
So,
The
huh?
answer is
Yeah,
wrong, I
it
believe,
is. It should
because
disable. It is asked
if
to disable.
the question is for
No, 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 no.
disable,
It is correct. Okay, wait, guys. That is for disable. You need, like, let me share my screen. Uh, Allow Cortina. Uh, plus CSP plus Intune. Okay, let's take a look on this. I think in policy search we'll get it. So Cortana, yeah, here it is, right? So
Yeah.
allow search Cortana to search and all. I think what was that? Or allow Cortana, right?
Allow Cortana was the answer, but the question was to disable Cortana.
Right. Okay. So let me see in this. It says
Okay.
no.
Allow Cortana should be disabled.
Yes, correct.
Okay. 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 Okay.
That should be disabled. So that's how
Okay.
you're not allowing that users to access that Cortana. Okay.
Okay. So the question
Yeah.
was little tricky. So
See, okay, now you guys can see this disable shutdown option is gone here. Can you see this now?
Yeah.
yeah.
So this policy worked, and after restart, we see that restart is not. I mean, that option is not there. What if File Explorer? I'm not sure if this policy is also working or not. So I'm not sure this. Okay, this policy is not working. I still see all this, but it should be disabled. It should allow me not. It should not allow me to access the C drive. Okay, so all the policies worked. It's just one policy is not working. Apart from it, okay, this shutdown is not. So user cannot shut down at any cost. And if I mean, I don't know if I just run the command from here, and if I just do a shutdown, this should work. But yeah, so this is working. But physically, if the user is not familiar with the command, he cannot go start and restart and all sort of things. He cannot do it. Okay, so this was all for today, guys. Thank you so much. It was really 3 hours some class today. Started at 1, right? So 2.5 hours. Okay, so let's wind up. I'll sure that I'll share the details for tomorrow's class and for the interview, and we'll have the session. Okay, don't miss it out. Take care. Let's meet up tomorrow, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.